Hi, I'm Sally and this is a tutorial for my flamingo design. You will need for him or her pink bands, and these are a mid pink, so not a baby pink or a hot pink, though I don't see why you could use hot pink if you wish. You can use any colour you wish, but I've used mid pink because I think, in my opinion, it looks better, but it's entirely up to your own taste. You will need a white band for the eye, and for the beak I have used 2 black for the end, and I've used a flesh colour, sort of pale pinky colour, for this part of the beak, but if you don't have that colour then white should be fine. So let's make a start on our flamingo. So taking your loom in a staggered configuration with the arrows pointing towards you, you're going to use, wrong colour bands. We're going to make the beak. So we're going to use the flesh colour, pale pink, white, whatever colour you're going to use for that part of the beak. And we're going down 3 times with this colour. Probably looks white on camera, but it's a very, very pale pink. Okay. So to double your bands, if you don't know, which I'm sure you do, but just in case, stretch it out, cross it over, and then double it back onto your hand, and then you can stretch that over the 2 pins. And then once you've gone down 3 times with this colour, you're going to take a black band, double it and place it next on your loom, and then I'm going to take another black band, I'm going to double it, I'm going to use this as a cap band. So I'm going to take this around the pin twice. If you can't manage twice, then do once. If you can do more than twice, then 3 times is good. But you don't want this band to be too loose, otherwise it's going to be sort of saggy at the end of the beak and it won't look too good. So then pushing this black band back, taking it around the pin, looping up. The same with the next 3. Like so. We're going to place this at the end of our loom, and your beak should look like, if you can see, beak should look like this, because they have the black bit on the end of the beak. I'm just going to give that a little stretch because one of those bands has just gone loose. A bit loopy, but it's all good. And now we're going to take a single white band and we're going to wrap this around our hook 3 times. And this is going to be, actually I'm going to take it another time, I'm going to go around 4, because that was a bit loose, but it depends on your bands. And this will be the eye, and you'll see why in a minute. We have to get it on our hook before we make the head. Just leave that on your hook for now. So for the head, we're going to take a single pink band. My bands are all intertwined. So on this pin here, single pink band. Then taking double bands. Double pink bands, we're going down quite steeply, diagonally. So you're going from this pin to the second side pin, and then the same on the other side. Coming down twice in the centre. So just straight. And then we're going to close off our design with diagonal bands. This is all double bands, and in a minute I will show you what you should have. So it should look like this, sort of kite shape with the 2 lots in the middle. And now we're going to place the beak on this centre pin here, and this will act as our cap band. So just slide the eye out the way, take another hook, use your fingers, whatever's easiest for you, and just place this over the end, trying to keep your beak as straight as possible. And now we're going to begin to loop. So in through this beak, pushing it back, taking the top 2 bands, 1 and then 3, it's always the way. Okay, 2 bands, looping them around like this, taking the next 2 bands, that are coming towards me, I'm going to slide this wrapped band onto here, and then our little bird will be able to see. Oh, not such a little bird. Like that, and then hook it over. So your wrapped band is sitting on that band, like so. So it's just here, and my beak's gone wonky. And then take the last two bands out of the centre, so you should have that band shape there, little teardrops. And now we're going to continue to loop. So just taking the last 3 sets of bands and looping them in, like this. And now going in through this first centre pin, I'm going to find that loose single band. I'm going to bring it around the hook and take the other end on our hook, and there it's going to stay. Then we're going to remove it, or you can place this around your finger, which I'm going to do, so I can use my hook to remove it from my loom. So you just want to hold on to this band that's holding it all together. Pull out the head so it is how you want it to look, keeping hold of that band. So here's my bird's head. I'm going to place it down on this bottom pin down here, like that. So you've got one clear side, one with the bird's head on. Now we're going to make the neck, and for the neck, using double bands, so that gives this tighter, solider sort of looking neck. And we're going to stretch out and double the bands again, and we're going down from one end of the loom all the way down to the other with doubled over bands. I did try this just with 2 bands to make the neck, but I did find that it looked really gappy. There's lots of little holes in, which for a flamingo's neck didn't look too great. So I decided that this was probably the best way to come out with the best looks, and it also comes out slimmer because their necks are quite slim, so it looked less sort of thick and clumpy, if clumpy is even a word. I'm trying to think of another word for clumpy now in case you don't know what I mean. Sort of bulky, I suppose. So we're nearly there. Just going to keep on going all the way down to the bottom. So we've done the full length, and now we're going to take the head, we're going to place it on here, and this is going to be our cap band. You want to place it so it's the right way up, so the eye is nearest the top. And then the bands that you're using to attach it with, take both of those bands there, heads come off, stretch them out, and you want to double them so the head isn't too loose on the end of the neck. So it should, try and work out how I'm going to show you this. This is upside down, so I can get it on camera. So, I'll do it sideways, maybe that might be a bit easier. So I've got my neck, head's at the bottom of my loom, with the eye facing upwards, coming out, it's pointing towards me, with the eye at the top. So your head's not on upside down. And then we're going to take our hook, push back on all these bands, and just take those bottom 2, and we're going to loop up all the way to the end. Whoops, daisy. Slippery loom. There we go. So we have flamingo's head on a nice looped up neck. We're going to remove this. So take it off your loom. Now your flamingo's head should be at an angle. Mine's come off straight. You don't want it to look like this. So just give it a little tug. Pull the neck down at an angle so that your flamingo's head is more of an angle than straight. There we are. So I'm going to dangle it upside down so you can sort of see. So it's more of an angle like this when it's upside down, like that. We're going to place this at the end of the loom. We can always sort of manoeuvre it afterwards. And next we're going to make the leg. So we're going to make the leg in two parts. So taking a band, we're going to stretch it and double it, and we're going down 10 times down our loom. So it's not quite to the bottom. All the way down would be 12 times, same as we've just done with the neck. Oops. So just working our way. So that should be 10, so I'm just going to double check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to make the foot. So to make the foot, you want to take a single band, stretch it out and double it, and you're going to wrap it around your hook twice. So you have this, and then taking another band, stretch it out and double it on the end of your hook, and just slide these bands that you've wrapped around over and on. Sorry, I think I went off camera then. So the wrap bands are on the doubled band, and loop it up like this, and then taking another, double it and slide on those other bands. So it should look like this. So you've got your bands that you've wrapped around that slid onto a doubled over band, and then that slid onto another doubled band. So there's 2 doubled bands, and you will need 3. So here's 2 I prepared earlier, true Blue Peter style. And once you've made your 3 toes, which you'll need to pause the video for, taking a band, doubling it round, you're going to slide these 3 toes onto this one band. Oh dear, and I've just let go of one of the ends. Where's it gone? It's hiding now. So yeah, do keep. It's gone. It's gone. I'm going to have to redo that bit. The band slip back into little toes. Toes? It's more of a webbed foot than toes, but I think you know what I mean by toes. So you will need to make this again. So if you've managed to do this first time and you're sat waiting for me, if you want to carry on and make another 3, or start to make another 3, save you a little bit of time later. Oh really? It's being silly today. There we go. Ha, got it. Okay, so your little foot should look like this. You've got your 3 toes like that, and we're going to place this on the end here where our bands have finished. So just stretch it out and place it over, spin it round so it's straight, and then we're going to loop up this row, so going inside the foot, taking those 2 bottom bands fiddle sticks. Couldn't find it. Only managed to find one. There we go. So looping all the way up to the top. Today really is one of those days where silly little mistakes seem to happen. And bands stay attached to the hook or attach themselves to the hook when you don't want them to. All the way to the end. Now this can stay on your loom just for now, because we can work along this side for the second part of the leg. So again, taking doubled bands, going down 5 times down the other side of our loom. And this is 5, like so. Taking our hook again, we're going to take a single band and wrap it around your hook 3 times. Then taking a doubled band, stretching it out, doubling it around your fingers. Slide this wrapped band onto that doubled band. Don't loop it back onto the hook, you want it like this. And we're going to add this to our loom. I find it easiest to do it on my fingers, so whatever's easiest. And this little wrapped band will be your flamingo's knee here. And then we're going to transfer this bit of leg that we've looped up with the foot on it and add it on this pin here underneath the wrapped band. So just take that off and add it on and loop up. And remove. So your flamingo's leg should look like this. So you've got your foot with your 3 toes and the little sort of kneecap area. And this can just be added to the bottom of your loom. You will need to make another one of these legs. So if you pause the video, do the exact same thing again, and then when you have 2 legs, you come back and we will make an extension piece. So this extension piece, explain what it will do. So where you see on the body of the flamingo, it's got this sort of rounded bit at the top here. These 2 top rows here are the extension piece that we're going to make now. So taking, a single band, just place it over this end middle pin, so the first middle pin, going diagonally from the middle pin towards the top, staying, I have no idea what I was going to say then, and we're going along the centre 4 times. Double bands. So 3 and 4. Going along the top, which looks like the bottom, but I'm tipping it upwards, so for me it's the top, so for you it'll also be the top. Twice. And then we're going diagonally, but quite steep diagonally like we did with the head. So it should look like this. This is the right way up. So you go along with double bands, you go diagonally up once first, then along the centre 4, along the top 2, and then that really steep diagonal band there. We're going to place a cap band on this, no we're not, I'm lying to you. I do apologise. We're not going to add the cap bands as such. We're going to add triangle bands, and then we're going to add the bands to attach it to the body. So taking a single band and double it, making a triangle like this, and then we're going to do the same but an upside down triangle, or a right way up triangle depending on which way you're looking at the loom. So it looks like this. And now we're going to use some more doubled bands. So double your bands over and then just place them on this pin here, just here. And we're going to do the same on these 3 pins, and these will be our attaching bands. They do need to be quite loose, so you can stretch them out and you can get them around the pin to join it on. You won't need one on here, and I've also realised you won't be needing the single band either, because you don't need to tie it off. You will need these bands to attach it. So ignore the single band that I've asked you to put on, because it doesn't need to be there. So we'll just take that off when we remove the looped itself. When we remove the extension piece. So once you're at this stage with your triangle bands and the bands on these 4 pins, go in. Treat this loose band here that you've looped over, move it a little bit closer, there we go, as a cap band. So you're just going in and you're taking the top 2 bands, and you will probably, more than likely, need to hold on to that band, looping it back on itself. And if you do get a loose band, as you can see, I have, if you just go in through your cap band and find the band and then just double it. As long as it goes through the cap band, it will be fine, like that. Same again, back through this band, and it will slack again when you take it off of the loom, so don't worry. You're going in and forwards, and then you can just loop this way and up to the end here, inside those little loopy bands, inside your triangle bands. Whoops. Like that. And then I'm doing the row with 2. So the top row, I'm doing this upside down to try to make it a little bit clearer. And then this diagonal band you want to loop so it finishes on the centre pin. 9. Like that. So this is what you should have when it's all looped up. We're going to remove this from the loom now, and we're going to place it down the end. Just be careful because you haven't tied it off, because you don't need to. So just either place your finger over here or put your hook through, just something to secure it so it doesn't unravel, it doesn't ping off. I'm going to place my finger over and just hold it on while I unloop, remove all this bit, just to stop it coming off. And then I'm taking it on my hook, and it looks a bit strange at the minute, I realise this. I'm just going to place it down here, like that, so it's all attached and it's secure there for a moment. And I'm going to remove this single band, because we don't need it, not at the moment. So we now have a head on a neck, 2 legs. I do have another leg, I haven't just made one, and we have our extension piece. So now it's time to make the body, and all these bits will attach to the body. So we are taking 2 bands, placing them over the end here, and then we're going diagonally with 2 bands, staying on the first pins on each side, and now we're going along 6 along the top, so double bands again, going along 6. So 3, 4, 7 down the centre, so starting at the first pin again and going down 7, which should mean you finish diagonally just after where you finished on the side. Okay. And there we go. So 7 down the centre, and now I'm going along the bottom, for me, which is the bottom, so hopefully for you too. Again 6, so it doesn't matter if you're doing it the other way around. At the moment it's the same. So going along 6. So it should be level with the other side. And if it isn't, then whichever one's not got 6 on is the one you need to just correct. So it looks like this. So now we're going to place diagonal bands here, 2 bands and 2 bands here. Like that. So the next thing we are going to do is to add on the extension piece along the top. And I'm going to explain this as best I can. So if you take your extension piece on your hook, so you should have 8 bands on your hook, which is a lot, but it'll be fine. And we're going to place this on the second pin on the top. So if I turn it around so you can see, so we're placing it, these 8 bands on this second pin here. So it's a big stretch, there's a lot of bands. You're placing them over that second pin, like this. Then if you find the loop at the other end of your extension, you can stretch this down, and this goes on the side 6th pin. Like this. So the biggest loop at the end is going around the pin before the diagonal band, so it's on this pin here if you can't see. And now you need to find the little doubled over bands that we placed in. If you find it easier to leave it slack and take this off, then that's absolutely fine. You just do whatever is the easiest way for you. So you need to root around in it. Find the 2 bands which we placed on, which is not that band there. I've got one of them, just trying to find the other one. It doesn't matter which order you do them in, as long as they all get hooked. So I found my first one, so that's just going around that pin there. So basically, as you work down your extension and you find the loop, and then you find the loop, and then you find the loop, they're just going to the pins, so they're stored in order, so it's not twisted at all. Okay. And if you need a little bit more time, you take all the time you need. You can just pause the video if I start on another bit before you've done it. So I've got one of these bands and I can't find the other one. So I'm going to go back in a minute and find that one. I think I might just take this off. I think it's a little bit too tight to find all of the bands it's there. But this can be tricky, especially if you're not used to doing it. If you haven't done it before, then it's difficult sometimes just to get your head around new things. But when it's done and it's on, it should look like this. So I'll just explain again what I've done, just in case you're just trying to get your head around it. So the second pin on the side, we've placed the 8 bands that were on our hook, and then as you work down this extension piece, you will find the little bands that we put around the pin that we looped through, the little doubled over bands. So you should have 2 bands that you're finding, and there should be 3 of these, and you're just looping them over each consecutive pin. The biggest loop that's right at the end, you're placing on the side 6th pin, so the one before here. So I hope that's a little bit clearer. So I'm going to carry on. If you need to pause and finish that bit off, then go ahead. The next bit we are going to add is the head. So removing it from the end of your loom, or the neck, placing it up the right way. We're putting it over the centre 1st pin. It's right in the middle, so it's here. And then we're going to put the legs on. So here's my other leg. And the legs are going on the same pin together. And they're going on the 4th pin on the underside of, sort of on the bottom rather than the underside of your flamingo. So it's right in the middle of the bottom edge. So just stretch them out and place them over, one on top of the other, on that pin. So there's one, and here's my other one that I've placed on a holding hook. Just try and get them so one's going in one way and one's going the other, so they're sort of making a V shape if you can. Stretch them over, and there we go. So this is what you should have at the moment. So you should have the legs down here, head, extension piece. And now we're just going to make some tail feathers, which are pretty easy to do. I'm going to show you how to make the smaller one on your hook, and then the larger one I'll do on the loom. So you can do them either way, or you can do one of each, or whatever you decide to do. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. Oh dear me. Okay, so we are going down twice with the smaller one. So you're taking a single band, wrapping it around your hook 3 times, like this, taking 2 bands over the end of your hook, hold it with your finger and just slide these loops onto those 2 bands, and then take the end back on, make sure the cap band's central, and then you're taking another 2 bands, placing them over the end of your hook again, and you're sliding all of those bands onto those 2 bands, making sure it's central, and there we have a tail feather. And this is going on the bottom pin here, so it's behind the leg, so it's here on this last pin here. And then I'll show you how to make the larger one. You just want that at a slight angle, sort of pointing backwards. And now the longer of the feathers. This is all double bands again. We're going down 5 times on our loom, so we should 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just about be able to fit that in. So if you go as close to the body as you can without overlapping, work your way down, you should have space just to fit the 5 sets of bands in there, like this. Place a cap band on this end pin. Loop it up, so pushing the cap band back with the end of your hook, looping up. So whether you prefer to use hook and hand, or you prefer to do as much on the loom as possible, you can do these either way. Remove from your loom, so it's just like that, and we're placing that on the centre pin, centre pin here. So it's just above the little one we've just put on. Again, this acts as a cap band. Position that however you want to position it. And then the last thing we need to do before we start to loop is to add on some triangle bands. So starting as low down as you can, you're placing triangle bands. Let's put it the right way around for you. across here, so these 3 pins here, and then we're going to work up the body like so, just making little triangles all the way up, going over the top of the legs. Oops. Like that, and like this. So in total you should have 6 triangles. You won't need one on these 3. It'll go like loopy at the front if you do. And now we can loop. So going in through the longest tail feather, pushing it back as if you would a cap band, finding the 2 top bands wherever they're hiding, and loop them back onto themselves, taking the next 2, and I can't find the one underneath. There we are, and looping that onto itself, and then the bottom 2, and looping it forward, whichever way yours need to go. So you should have sort of like little teardrops going around in a circle like a fan, like that. And I'm going to loop along the bottom edge where the legs are. So pushing back the feather on the bottom of the flamingo. And that loop's just come loose, so I'm just going to put that back. And I have 3 bands, so which band is the band I don't want? Answers on a postcard 2. I don't know. So I'm just going to work out which ones are the ones I want and which ones are the ones I don't. So I want this one, I can tell, and I want, a lot of it is a puzzle, to be honest. Do I want that one or do I want this one? And what is that band? We just don't know. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this back around the pin, because I think that might be my triangle band. That's the only other band that it can be. And I'm going to make sure that this is correctly looped, and you should be able to see that it's a little teardrop shape. So I know that that's right. So moving that triangle band out the way, looping up, and the same again. Through the legs, you're pushing all of those bands back, and you want to find the 2 at the bottom and pull them forwards. Same again, keep going, and you're going right up to where you've attached the neck. And now I'm going along the centre. Okay, just looping up. Like so. And now we're going along the top part where we've got the extension. So bottom 2 bands only, so pushing all of the bands from the extension out the way and just looping the bottom 2. Like so, pushing back. Whoops. Pushing back. Pushing through those 8 bands of the extension. And then the last band goes diagonally and finishes at the neck. So once your flamingo's all looped up, looking like he's got a really massive body, but it'll be fine once we take him off. This is what you should have. And once you're at this stage, you're ready to tie this design off. So taking your 2 loose bands that we placed on, first of all, going through the band which the neck is attached to, finding those 2 bands and taking them on your hook. I think I've got them. And then you're just going to make a slip knot by taking one end over the other, and tying it, and once it's all secure you can remove it from your loom. for a minute there I'd broken my pin, but I haven't. And here, making sure these bands are secure, you have your flamingo. Again, just adjust his head if you need to. Just give it a little tug and it will reposition itself. Make sure the legs are the right way around, straighten out the tail feathers, like so. And this band here, we're just going to tuck in around the back so you can't see it. So just going through some of the bands on the back and taking your hook and pulling those loops through. And same again, and just keep repeating this till the loops are all completely hidden. So once more, and that should do it for me. Like that. And they'll hide themselves nicely. And there we have it. So if you want to hang him on anything, you can add in bands either on his back and just loop them through and slip knot them, or on his head, or wherever you wish. But there's our flamingo. There's one last thing that we need to do. As you can see on here, he has an eye. So we just need to take a Sharpie pen or another permanent pen, and you're just going to put a little dot on this white band. Like that. So he can see if he was real and not made of loom bands. There we go. So there's our flamingo design, and I'm very pleased with him. I think he's come out really well. So if you've enjoyed making your flamingo and you'd like more tutorials, please like and comment on this. Let me know what you think of this design and of my tutorials. Please subscribe to be notified when I bring more videos and tutorials out. I am on Instagram @Sally'sLooming. If you'd like to show me your finished results, that would be excellent if you could do that. It's always nice to see how these things come out. I'm also on Twitter, very newly on Twitter at the moment, so still finding my feet a bit, but you can find me on there @Sally'sLooming again. And I'm also on Facebook. If you search Sally's Looming, you will find my group on there, and you can show me your pictures, discuss. You can make requests either through Facebook, Twitter, or comment under here. Just let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to make. And that's that. So, hope you enjoyed making him, and I'll see you next time. Bye.